Could business centers where people work remotely soon be added to cruise ships? And if so, is this something that you'd actually like to see? Hi there, I'm Ilana from the website lifewellcruise.com. Welcome back to my channel. Now, cruising has changed over the years, but let's face it, life has changed over the years. And especially, it's no secret, over the last 2 or 3 years. And more people are working remotely. Well, recently, I saw a question that was asked to Carnival Ambassador John Heald about a business center and why Carnival cruise ships do not have one. Now, of course, Carnival is not the only cruise line that doesn't have a true business center the way you might see in a hotel. I think that is one of the ways that cruise ships are different from the majority of hotels. Now, I have to admit, my first reaction was, oh no, I would never want a business center on a cruise ship. I don't want to see a whole bunch of people looking like they're working very seriously. But then I did read John Heald's response. I also read through a lot of the comments and I thought, well, maybe I am wrong on this, especially that I actually work a little bit while I'm on a cruise ship, although I usually do work really just from my cabin. Now, I am going to share the comment or the question with you, as well as John Heald's response. It does seem like he is going to bring this up to the beards, and I am going to share with you some of the comments that really stood out to me, and I would like to hear from you. Now, before I get started, I did want to mention that if you like this video, if you find it helpful, informative, or enjoyable in any way, then please do give this video a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it, and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Let's get started. So this was what was posted on John Heald, Carnival Ambassador's Facebook page. Unfortunately, I'll need to work a few hours each day on my upcoming Vista cruise. I understand from my travel agent that Carnival does not have a business center. With 70% of Americans working remotely and working on vacation too, Carnival should provide a business center on every ship. Charging stations, printers, special internet packages for remote workers. Drop the ball here, Carnival. Now, before I share John Heald's response, I did actually want to check that statistic a little bit. I actually found it higher than I expected it to be. 70% of Americans working remotely. I didn't think that was exactly right. So I did check it, and well, it's right and wrong. So I will share with you, according to the internet, what the actual statistics are. Now, it is a little bit hard to gauge because oftentimes many statistics are from prior to 2021. But according to everything that I was able to find, the estimates are between 12% that are full-time remote workers to 26% that might be part-time remote workers as well. However, some unofficial sources seem to indicate that it can be as high as 50%. And of course, there are people that are self-employed, that are freelance workers, so that could play into it as well. However, when I did Google what percentage of Americans work while on vacation, well, that statistic was actually closer to 70%. So depending on the study and the article, it was between 68 and 81% of Americans and Canadians that said they do some amount of work while they're on vacation, and they do have some trouble disconnecting. They do check work emails, and they do check work-related apps. By the way, for an unofficial poll, please let me know if you do a little bit of work while you're on vacation, even on a cruise. Please let me know down in the comments below. John Heald's response. Well, if what this lady says, that 70% of Americans are working remotely and working on vacation too, then perhaps we do need to have a think about this. Now, I work when I'm on board. I work in the dining room, and I work in the lounges or in my cabin, but the allure of the bed usually means that I get sod all done there. Now, I did read that word for word. Perhaps we are in the mindset that people are too busy having fun to work, and that the purpose of vacation is to forget about work. Perhaps those ideas are not part of today's world, although I hope that truly is not the case. Anyway, business centers, phone charging stations, do we need them? And would we use them? Thoughts, please, everyone, so I can present that to the beards. Now, by the way, John Hield uses the phrase the beards to mean corporate, and he doesn't mean any harm by that. Now, I'm not actually sure if Carnival or any cruise line would do this, especially if it's not a money-making proposition. So I did have a little bit of a business idea for Carnival if they decided to go this way, based a lot on what I read in the comments, which actually did surprise me. Now, I will share that business idea with you, and I would like to know your thoughts. But first, let me share with you some of the different comments. Now, there were many people who said, yes, there should be business centers, but there were also some people who said no. Out of the people who said yes, these were some of the comments. I work remotely, and if the cruise ships could provide high-speed internet connections needed to do my job, I would definitely cruise more often. This one got a lot of likes, by the way. Now, another commenter said, yes, it would be helpful. My husband and I are self-employed, and we always need to do a little work while we're on a cruise. Another commenter, yes, I work remotely, which could be anywhere. It would be nice to support those of us who can work from a floating office. Now, this commenter said something that I really hadn't thought of, but I'm sure it does affect many. I've had to do schoolwork on several cruises, and it would have been beneficial to have a dedicated space away from all the hustle and bustle. Charging stations would always be a plus. And of course, that's true. It's not only workers, it is students that go on cruises, and sometimes there is work that needs to be done. And still another commenter said, yes, many people have work and school obligations, and they need a quiet place with good internet and power. Now, there were also some adamant no's and some people that were sitting on the fence, and I definitely can understand the people sitting on the fence. I probably identify with that one a little bit. Now, in the no category, I'm retired, so work is no longer in my vocabulary. But when I was working, vacation meant no work. Now, still another commenter, and this one did get a lot of likes, so a lot of people agree with this one. I don't think business centers are needed. Choose a vacation that fits what you are doing. Don't demand a company to change to accommodate you if you're supposed to be working. And still another commenter, I cruise to disconnect. There's no need for a business center. I only bring my phone for when we get off the ship, just in case there's an issue, but otherwise I don't even turn it on. Now, I know there are many people who don't like to use their phone on vacation, and I remember even being one of them a few years ago, but I do think that is something that has changed in the last few years. Please let me know if you find that's the case for you, or if you still really like to disconnect while you're on a cruise by putting your phone or computer away. Which leads me to the not really, but a little bit sitting on the fence. One commenter expressed, my husband and I work every cruise. We take the best internet plan and we figure it out. I have a multi-stream extender for my laptop. This person sounds really prepared. And I bring my own multi-plug for my charging needs. This is not Carnival's problem. And still another, and I have a feeling a lot of people might identify with this one, at least in some way. I'm sure it would be nice. However, I plan a cruise at least once a year, so my husband can't be reached for work. If his phone is available, then so is he. He loves his job, but we all need a vacation. And I do think that that definitely is true. There is something nice about going on a cruise and feeling like, to a certain extent, you're not very reachable. I particularly like when the ship sails away from shore, really feeling like I am getting away from land and any of my problems or stresses that they're left behind. Now, I was thinking about this and wondering if John Hield was serious, if they'd actually think about putting a business center on a cruise ship. After all, honestly, a lot of the feedback was that people would use it and they'd want it. But I was also thinking, what cruise line is really going to do something on a cruise ship that doesn't make them any additional money? So I had a little bit of a business idea, and I do want to hear your thoughts. If Carnival did this, or any cruise line, would you pay for it? So if Carnival had a business center, including printers and charging stations and paper, I guess, and maybe like a coffee card or something like that, so you can pick up coffee when you're in the business center, and better internet, so higher speed internet for the people that bought like this business center remote worker package, would you pay for that? Is that an extra that you would consider buying on a cruise? Now, either way, I do want to hear from you. Please let me know if you're in favor or not in favor of business centers on a cruise ship, please let me know down in the comments below. Now, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give it a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it, and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Bye for now, and happy cruising.